Hello, MGTOW. Hello, man. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to talk about the statement, anything a man can do, a woman can do. And I would also like to talk about the statement, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. But first, let me say thank you to everybody who's been stopping by, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, even donating. I really appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and click on the subscribe button, click on the bell notification symbol, and accept the email notifications. It'll help me grow my channel in these difficult times for men here on YouTube. So let me tell you what I'm talking about, okay? Anything a man can do, a woman can do. Better, right? I forgot to add that last part in there. This is just one of the common expressions that kind of like floats around our society in the media. And the young man just kind of accepts it, right? He's just like, oh, well, yeah, I guess that's basically true. It's like, that's the most untrue statement that you could possibly throw out there. That's like saying anything a woman can do, a man can do. And it's like, no, she can get pregnant. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. So I guess that's untrue. And it's like, no, a man can have sex and not get pregnant. So there you go. Right, so there's just this basic biological fundamental difference, and the only person who's going to deny it is some blue-haired, sexually ambiguous special snowflake. That's the only type of person who's going to, question it. And you can understand why particular groups within our society would actually push to say, hey, this is a legitimate voting bloc. So if you check back on just some of my recent videos, why men love tools but women love the state, I talk about how men and their nature itself has transformed the entire surface of the earth. And that's men who have done that, right? Now, let me take it a step back a little bit, back to, the basic nature of man. Okay, man, the builder. But at his most basic nature regarding women and the social situation, you know what the man is? And you've forgotten. Okay, the man is a protector, straight up. And he doesn't even have to fight or do anything. You know what I mean? Just his presence alone suggests that if there is a problem, here is someone who will fight to the end. That's the first thing that the man does for a woman. The minute that the man is there, it's like, okay, here's somebody who will go to the end. And women, they don't have that. And it's not something that has to be done. You know what I mean? This is something that we've developed in all of the animal kingdom. The animals don't want to have a deadly confrontation. They want to be able to escalate in stages of presentation of potential violence, and then they want for it to become obvious and for the other one to back down. Because honestly, the truth is, guys, like if you get, the most common outcome of serious confrontation is that both people are destroyed, that both parties are seriously injured. So it's, not something to actually do unless you have to, right? But that's the first thing that the man represents. Now, let's move on to the tools and transforming, okay? That's what men do. Men are primarily builders, whether you realize it or not. They're protectors and they're builders. It's amazing, isn't it? Because even little boys will adopt this role. You don't have to teach them anything. You don't have to have them watching television or anything like that. The little boy will pretend to be a superhero or a fireman or a knight in armor, and he will build a fort. This is the basics. Now, it's really unfortunate because when you then sit down with, a young man or a man, and, you say to him, anything a man can do, a woman can do better, he kind of giggles or, kind of like capitulates and goes along. And it's so unbecoming. Check out my previous video, the worship of women and the victim mindset. Because the woman knows that, the female knows that she is at a physical disadvantage, right? And a mental disadvantage. So she uses sexuality, emotions, physiology, to kind of even the scales and balance things out. And when the male becomes enamored, when he becomes submissive to those forces, he becomes a disgusting creature because he's not male-like anymore. He's not assertive, he's not dominant, he's not confident. He's submissive to the female regarding, for access to sexuality. So it's like an endless shit test where she is constantly belittling the nature of reality itself and her superiority over it, where she hasn't earned it. This is a very real thing that's tied to our physiology. As the man does good work, he feels good about himself and the future. And it's not a put on or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like he says, oh, I want to build a shelter. And then he builds it and it's a good shelter. So he's like receiving physiological rewards of serotonin and other feel-good chemicals. Whereas if he tries to build the structure and it falls down, he feels bad. He becomes stressed out, and he gets all this cortisol and stress emotion going. So it's real, right? So now the woman comes over and says, I could build a structure as good as you. And the man is like, well, if I disagree, I'm not getting sexual access. But if I agree, I kind of have to stop building. And it's sad that so many men will agree. And then they become a sycophant. Then they become like a beggar. And even if the man maintains some sort of physical structure and integrity for a while, he's undermined himself. It's a crack in the dam. Maintain your integrity of your person. See, this is one of the things that is done to undermine good people, is to say that the things that they want reduce them to being animals, to take away the human morality and ethics out of the situation. The idea that, here's a man, here's a human being, here's a person, and they're choosing to do something good, right? And then somebody else who would not make such a choice comes along and says, oh, you're only doing that for gain, profit, or advantage. So now the person who was doing a good thing, was doing something noble, was doing something productive towards the future, doing something that was going to make them stronger and their environment stronger, is now walking around with the shame and the physiological reaction of just somebody who's just some self-serving. That's a lot of what's going on right now. The men are not getting credit for being bold, inventive, courageous, and disciplined. And the men who are giving in to their physiology and betraying their own nature to please women, to say, oh, no, if you say that you can build a house, you can build a house, girl. It's like, you can't build a house. Well, some of you can build houses, but you know what I mean. It's not even in their character or their nature. It's in their character and their nature to complain to somebody else and get them to build the house. So you can't give credit where it's not due, and you can't take away credit where it is due. And as I've said in previous videos, when you say that, these two things are equal, you're taking one of them down a level and you're bringing another one of them up a level. If you say, if there's a person who can build a house and there's a person who can't build a house, and you say, oh, these two people are equal, well, you've just taken away the credit and the skill and the ability of building a house away from somebody who, has earned it and has it, and you've given it to somebody who doesn't have it and who hasn't earned it. So how fair and how right is that? It's wrong. It's wrong. And this is the world that we live in, where the men are cast down simply for being men, and the women are lifted up simply for being women. And the men do it too, because the men, a certain group of men, they want to get together with the women. And they want to get together with them so desperately and so badly that they will do this. And they will realize that they are undermining their own integrity. They are undermining their own interaction with reality. They are undermining their own interaction with their own physiology. So you have to go your own way. If you want to be strong, fit, and healthy, you have to find your own way, and you have to go your own way. And then maybe you meet up with somebody. Maybe you would then have something to share with that person, something real. But if you're just some guy, who's moderately physically fit, who's got some good working skills, and you want to get together with the women, and I understand, right? And you want to move ahead in life, but that's it. Like, that's all you've got going for you. And then you go down that road, you're lost. You're lost to yourself. You're going to be doing things, competing with other men, seizing opportunities, and the motivation for this is going to be, your heart thumping in your ears, just some feeling that you have. And it's not good enough for a man. it would leave you completely compromised and at the whim of emotions and situations that you don't even know about, that you don't even understand. And it's a really difficult way to go through life. The man being torn by his own emotions, by his own feelings, and not having control of his own physiology, not being able to feel good and strong, but instead feeling like a servant, like a slave, like an endless worker that's just being worked into the ground. So that's the feeling that I'm going against. And I know that it isn't obvious when a woman says, anything a man can do, a woman can do better, that she's actually bringing the man down from that level. So be that man that operates at this higher level for yourself. Have your ambitions, have your plans. Know that they are good, know that they are noble. That'll give you the moral higher ground in your operations. Do not be a servant and a slave to your biology. Of course, you're going to have to do the things that you have to do. That's basic maintenance. And do these things in your life, too. Do the basic maintenance in your life that you have to do to be productive. And try to do it without even having to think about it. I mean, this is what I try to do. This is not what I do, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I try to do. So when it's time to clean the house, there's a part of me that's saying, oh man, I don't want to do this. But there's another part of me that says, look, just get it done. Don't dwell on it too much. Don't dwell too much on your own feelings. Sometimes they're just gonna waste your time. And as a man, you're gonna need to put them aside, and get the job done. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that for now. I'm sorry I didn't get around to the woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle, but that's going to have to be another video in and of itself. And I hope you remember to go ahead and click the subscribe button, click on the bell notification symbol, and accept the email notifications, because it'll help me grow my channel here, these difficult times for men on YouTube. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.